Since January 1st, more than 1,800 people living outdoors have received some kind of help from the city. But even the Vice Mayor says more needs to be done. Fox 17 News' Michelle Maer live outside City Hall tonight with a closer look at the options leaders and Nashvillians are considering to fix this dire situation. Maggie.
More than 100 people came together both tonight and on Tuesday night as well to hopefully find a solution to homelessness, both long-term and short-term solutions. While nothing was agreed upon fully, many topics were brought about, all focused on helping the people in these types of situations. As Music City grows, so does the need to address the high cost of homelessness.
You have empty buildings everywhere, no affordable housing.
So much so that it's bringing the city together to find a solution to those who are currently living in the woods, in tents, and even under bridges. Vice Mayor Jim Schulman is heading up these meetings. Fox 17 asked if the city is currently doing enough.
No, until we get this problem resolved, never enough. Now, I will say that obviously we appreciate the efforts by the mayor's office. We appreciate everybody's efforts, but we don't have a plan right now, at least one that has been given to me.
City leaders like Vice Mayor Jim Schulman say that the city is not doing enough. Do you think that's fair?
I think every city could do better. I think we are working diligently at helping those that are in need. Can we do more? Can we do better? Always, because if we just sit still, then people don't get help. So we're always looking for better ways to help people within our city.
Night 2 focused on specific ideas like services.
We have a lot of outreach workers in this community. We don't have a lot of retention workers. So once you get people into housing, how are you going to keep them there?
Other ideas included taking a closer look at hotels for sale, tiny homes, and how the Nashville area considers success in finding a solution. Now, the meeting did not end with a clear plan in place to move forward, but Vice Mayor Jim Schulman did bring up the idea of meeting in a couple of weeks to hopefully further this discussion. It's also important to note that the woman we spoke about during my story that is currently facing homelessness, now she was actually able to find a place to stay this evening thanks to Councilmember Courtney Johnston working to find her a spot. Other nonprofits in the area actually got in contact with that woman and are hoping to help her moving forward.
This is for the second year in a row. New data from the State Department of Education shows 88.7% of seniors graduated on time this past spring. That's down from 89.6% the previous year. Fox 17 News' Jackie Del Pilar joins us with what's being blamed for the drop-off.
The State Commissioner of Education says pandemic learning loss is the reason behind those graduation rates dropping off. I went through the data to find out how schools here in the Mid-State compare.
The percentage of students walking across the graduation stage in Tennessee on the decline. State education leaders release new numbers detailing how many high school seniors graduated on time in the 2020-2021 school year. Some mid-state districts are well above the state average, like Wilson and Williamson counties, each reporting a 96% graduation rate. But others are down year to year, like Murray, Cheatham, and Robertson County schools, each reporting some of the steepest declines in the state. The lower numbers are frustrating for local parents.
I feel like that every kid should have the right to a great education and a great future. And it's up to the leaders, no matter if you're running on a school board or if you're running in a city, state, or position, your focus should be on these kids and their education.
Robertson County parent Jarvis Turnley wants to see education leaders put more emphasis on the youngest and most vulnerable students to set them up for success moving forward.
If you focus on them early and you focus on those who are not making the test scores, it will boost the graduation rates up.
The director of Robertson County Schools tells me their drop is due to a huge decline in the graduation rate at Tennessee Connections Academy, a statewide virtual school. He says many students enrolled at the online school did not complete graduation requirements, dragging down their numbers. State education leaders say they're confident they can get overall graduation rates back up with the right investment and partnership with local districts.
The report says the pandemic really exposed some issues that have been brewing for some time, especially when it comes to public health infrastructure. The authors hope this report can be used as a blueprint to help protect people in this health crisis and any that may come in the future. How well did Nashville respond to the COVID-19 pandemic? That's the question at the center of a new study digging into Metro's COVID response. Some of the positive takeaways include the city's commitment to data-driven decision-making and its ability to mobilize resources as the city is all too familiar with natural disaster.
And it's as if, you had all the trappings, you had all the pieces ready to kind of pull the trigger to execute a plan moving forward.
The report also lays out where city leaders went wrong, especially with the most vulnerable residents. The report says vulnerable populations were disproportionately affected by both the virus and public health measures, like business and school closures. The head of the Metro COVID Task Force admits they could have done better.
As a city, especially early on, we could have been more intentional about how we address the most vulnerable populations, right? Minorities, new Americans, or unhoused Nashvillians. And, admittedly, we probably started out stumbling a little bit.
The report lists 30 recommendations, both short and long term, to help the city's public health response moving forward. Some recommendations are simple, like building on relationships between the city and its community partners. Others are more complex, like creating new online portals for people to easily apply for financial assistance. I reached out to the mayor's office and Metro public health leaders asking if and how they plan to follow these recommendations. The health department says they're reviewing the information and always looking for ways to improve. The mayor's office says they are also reviewing the recommendations and doing their own report to help guide their changes and planning moving forward.